I was recently asked this question by a fellow attorney, and I thought it would be useful for me to answer here as well. He asks about his child's private Catholic school and whether it's okay for them to videotape a talent show and sell it to the parents for a minimal profit. He's concerned about copyright issues as well as privacy issues. So the answer I gave him was basically on the privacy front, I don't think there's too much of an issue. The students are giving public performance, and presumably they're doing that without duress or coercion. So there's really not much intrusion or public disclosure of private facts or anything like that. And there's no misappropriation of name or likeness because they're not using the kids' images to sell a product per se, other than the tape itself. False light invasion of privacy really doesn't apply because the events on the tape are actually going to have happened. So I don't really see that being a big issue unless the footage is later used for some kind of commercial purpose, in which case we have to think about the misappropriation tort. On the intellectual property side of things, though, I think there are a few issues. Copyright law, as you know, protects original works of authorship like music and plays and poetry and things like that. And the copyright owners then control the exclusive rights to copy, distribute, perform, display, or make derivative works based on the original. So the thing here, though, is that the Copyright Act also includes an exemption that covers this kind of a situation. The variety show allows for the performance of non-dramatic literary or musical works other than in a transmission to the public and so on and so forth. When it's in a non-commercial environment where the proceeds of the thing are being used for educational or religious or charitable purposes, and there's no private financial gain going on. But when you're doing a videotape production of the show, that's not covered under that exemption, and it's probably not covered by fair use either. Fair use is an exemption for certain sort of minimal uses for purposes that we as a society have deemed worthy of, that'll extend the purposes of free speech and free expression and keep the public discourse going and things like that. But that videotape being made to sell to parents probably isn't going to be a fair use. So I think you need to get a permission to do that filming or videotaping. And that's going to be difficult because you have to go to each and every owner of every copyrighted work that's being performed. So that's each music publisher that controls a song and each record label that controls a recording. But also if there's a scene from a play being performed, you got to get the rights from the publisher of the play. If there's a poem being performed or read aloud, you have to get the rights of the owner of the poem. So it can be quite a complicated endeavor to get the licensing. So my advice on these things is don't allow recording of the show. Don't try to make some keepsake that's going to be sold to parents. And moreover, don't let the parents bring their cameras in and record it themselves, because frankly, that too is a copyright infringement. And I've actually heard of situations where schools have been shut down from their musicals because they allowed parents to videotape their production of Oliver, for example, or something like that. The truth of it is, the experience when you're videotaping a show, you're not experiencing the show, you're experiencing the act of videotaping. You're looking through that little viewfinder, you're watching the battery level, you're watching to make sure you're getting good lighting, and you're doing everything except really experiencing the joy of watching your child up on stage. So rather than allow for the videotaping, I think it's better to encourage parents to come and really enjoy creating that memory in their head, in their brain.